So what Paul's going to be showing here again is using the GTE Forms tool in very rapid fashion to create a form, and actually it's a form that Ashley built. So I'm glad that Ashley's on the line in case there are additional questions that come up. She used exclusively the configuration capabilities of the GTE Forms tool, so everything that you see will be configuration-based, and it shows some pretty cool functionality. One of the powerful features of GTE Forms is that it automatically creates Fluid applications without Fluid development. So what you see here, the form that Paul's going to show being built automatically generates as a Fluid self-service app.
Okay, we're ready to go. All right, so like Scott said, Ashley used our tool, GTE Forms, to build a form, a Fluid application inside PeopleSoft with no developer and in less than an hour. So it is in a Flash, so it's going to go fast. Here is a fast demo. This is a form where someone can request to work from home. So, and to set up their schedule in case you needed to work out shifts for COVID management in the office. We can have employees fill that out. So here is how that form was created, the work at home form. In our form setup, we set up some general fields here, and then it's on to where we set up the form pages. You can set it up as a Fluid form or as a classic form. If you want to switch it later, you can always do that. So you can start as classic and then go to Fluid. We're putting in the multiple pages that we want to see. You can have as many pages as you like. One of the really helpful features of GTE Forms is the ability to put rich text instructions just about anywhere in the form. These are the step instructions that appear at the top of the page. You'll see us use segment instructions here shortly. So within a page, you have segments, and segments have fields. So we've got form type, and then page, and then segment, and then field. You'll see here Ashley is adding fields that already exist in PeopleSoft, and it's defaulting the information about that field. But here next, you're going to see her create a new field just by typing a label. She's going to type a label and tab out of that field, and you'll see it actually created a PeopleSoft field to store that information in. And that'll be able to be reused on other forms if necessary, and also can be used to query the form information. Here she's now entering some segment text, some segment instructions. You can also do instructional fields in the form to put directions in the middle of the form. It's rich text, so she can do this awesome thing like adding a link to an outside field, to an outside page. And all these fields can be set up to look up information from existing records. They can default information. Here she's defaulting the date to the current date. And for the employee ID, she's defaulting to the current employee. And then she'll use a feature we call the data pool to create a display of the name. So data pool basically allows you to take any record in PeopleSoft, whether it's a new one that you're creating or one that's always been there, and to use it kind of like a built-in query tool to pre-populate data, to dynamically update data, to restrict valid values, to create lookups. So that data pool tool is a really powerful feature that gives you access to all sorts of data-related power inside the form. Okay, so now we're building a second segment. The segments can be of two types. They can be columnar segments or grid segments. This is a column segment, and she's using this to create an address area where we can identify where the which location the person is working at, so we can look at any time and see this is where this person should be today. So we're adding address information. Again, she's reusing existing fields, but she's able to change those labels really quickly. And now back to the data pool, we want to pull in the location information for the current employee. So we satisfy the keys of that employee's or that record, and then we can actually pull in fields from job to default information. So here now we have the location. We can actually link fields together. So if we have the location from job, we can actually grab information from the location table directly. So again, this isn't a flash, so you're not supposed to be remembering all this. You're just supposed to be getting an idea of how fast this can be done. So here again, we're referencing information from the location table to pre-populate information for the address if they are working from a physical office address. Creating additional support fields here. So we've got a different header if we are working from home. And she's using the automatic field create there to create a bunch of fields and then changing the header to what she wants afterwards. She's really good at this, better than me by a long shot. You see, this is rich text. You can mark it up in any way. Here we've got a couple of links, and she's going to do a really fun thing here soon with actually adding a button to that to the instructional text. But okay, so we've got multiple sets of address information here based on whether or not this is the physical office or the work from home. We're probably not going to want to show all of that at the same time. So we'll be using our built-in logic engine to switch back and forth between which sets of fields are being shown. Okay, so now we've got two segments built. Here comes a grid segment, and the grid segment is going to allow us to enter those rows per day. She's going to, again, use some fields that are delivered by PeopleSoft and some that she'll create along the way. But the ability to add repeating data as grids really makes this powerful. It's one of the ways that GTE Forms can accomplish things that can't be done in Forms and Approval Builder, for example. You can't have grids, you can't pre-populate data, you don't have logic engine dynamic ability. So here she's actually creating translate values for one of the new fields that she just created. Again, since it's an actual PeopleSoft field, you can do this. So she's taking the location field and adding a couple of translate values to it so she can do a drop down and have them choose between physical work location or work at home location. Back into form setup, we're going to use that field that she just added those translate values to. First, we'll get some delivered fields, the day of the week, and now we've got the to and from time here. So once she's got this grid created, and she can edit those labels at any time. Isn't it nice, if any of you are techies, to consider having your business analyst able to change the labels on your self-service applications? Those are always those requests that we really would prefer not to get. So here's the exciting part. Now we are actually building a logic segment to determine, let's see, we are checking to see whether or not to show a segment.
Yes, that state, making sure once they actually tell us the state that they're working in, then unfolding the form to make sure that they enter their address, but not to overwhelm them and have that be the first thing they look at.
Gotcha. Very good. So, and I love this. I've never actually done this. She's arranging branding using a table in the an HTML table in the instructional area and using that rich text. And this was the real fun one here. She created a button over in Word, got the image she wanted, pasted that here into the into her instructional text, added a link to it. She's making her product look even more awesome than I knew it was. So now she's adding multiple tasks. We have 4 basic tasks: adding, updating, evaluating, and viewing. And we can actually alter how the form behaves in each of those areas. But we're just using them the same in this case. And now we're adding routing, and we can have very complex routing. This is just a single step approval, but that could be 8 approvers long if you need it to be. Obviously, no need for it here. But we're also adding in some a notification so that the person who submits it can get an email back when their information has been approved. So she's creating a template for that email, and we can include. Here's another thing that you can't do with Fluid Forms and Approval Builder. We can actually include data from the form in the email so that she can paste in the information for the form so they can tell exactly which one they're getting the notification about using these dynamic smart source tags. And those can be HTML emails. We're not going quite to that point here, but all of this that you're seeing obviously is being done in configuration. There are tons of ways to extend GTE Forms technically, and those include updating PeopleSoft components with the results of the form. And she's using our deploy tool to stick that form on a Fluid navigation collection, and here it is. The form is built. So let's see, a couple of changes here. She can easily shift forms around, shift fields around onto the columns that she prefers. Go back in, and now she's reorganized these fields. We'll see the dynamic behavior. Once she filled out the state, the work at home schedule grid appeared. And she can fill out this form. She built this in about 45 minutes. That's pretty darn fast, but our clients are able to get similar turnaround times. The Princeton University, when COVID hit, had a need to get some COVID-related forms similar to this one out really quickly. They got the requirements on a Thursday and had the forms deployed to production on Friday, the next day. So within 24 hours, they're able to get a couple of forms turned around and out the door. So you really can, using GTE Forms, build Fluid forms in a flash. So let's see here. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time. Looks like we've got, we're over time, sorry. But I'm happy to stay around and answer any questions. Do we have any questions in the chat, Scott?
Not that I've seen yet, no.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Again, we're happy to stay and talk. If you want to chat with us at any point, you can go to our virtual booth and hit the live chat link. We have, we're there ready to talk to you face to face anytime. And you can feel free to either come off mute here if you have questions, or you can type your questions in the chat and we'll be glad to answer.
That's one of those demos that goes so fast it's hard to breathe.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a rest afterward here. We'll bring up the schedule for our additional sessions coming. And we do have this recorded. If you would like a recording of this session, please go to our virtual booth, click on the Questopoly tab, and register for our drawing. You'll get the multi-purpose outcome of signing up for our free $100 Amazon gift card, and you'll get an email after the conference with links to all of our mini session recordings so that you can look at this at your leisure, share with your friends and family, brag about it on social media, anything that you like.
It is a fantastic idea for the holidays. Oh, hey, we got a question. Is there a minimum tools version for this tool, and how would this be impacted by use on the cloud?
Thank you. Great question. So the minimum tools level for GTE Forms is 8.53, I believe. We can make accommodations for earlier. For Fluid Forms, your minimum is it's 8.55.12, I think. It might be 8.56.12, sorry, or .11. Anyway, we can, to use Fluid, you do need to be on 8.56 and a couple of dots up. So
And
yes,
then,
and for cloud use, it's easy to use. If you're hosted on the cloud, there's no real change to based on where it's hosted, because this is a bolt-on, so it lives inside your PeopleSoft system. There's no additional hardware that's necessary, no additional security architecture. It lives inside PeopleSoft, and so wherever you've got PeopleSoft, it can live there.
And then we've got 3 more questions, and I'm going to read all 3 of them, and then you can respond. Do forms validate based on PeopleSoft security? Does it use PeopleSoft AWE for the workflow engine? And does it update the database directly?
Okay, great. So for updating the database directly, yes, it can do that. Usually when we're updating a target PeopleSoft component, we prefer to go through component interface so that we trigger all the business logic. But you can, the data from the form is actually automatically stored on the database and can be query accessible. And so there's nothing else that needs to happen. You don't need to do anything to make that happen. And then CI update is a technical step, but a guided one. Let's see, I see the second
AWE?
question. AWE, yes, we use AWE as our base workflow engine, but we add a layer of config on top of it. You got a brief glance at that in the video, but we have a lot of additional functionality that we build on top that makes it a lot easier for functional users to set up routings.
And PeopleSoft security.
PeopleSoft security, yes, you can use PeopleSoft row-level security, and we build that in all the time, either on value lookups or on search records. We also add a layer of security on top of that for access to the forms so that you can subdivide access really in any way that you want and say, well, this role can see this form, but not this form, so on and so forth. So yeah, lots of security options, very robust capability to show the right people the stuff that they need to see, either form types or row level security. Okay.
Awesome. And I think that it's worth noting that GTE Forms, the tool, has been around for 17 years. It is all people tools based, as we've talked about. And the Fluid version has been available since fall of 2016, I think.
Right.
Let's see. Where can we get the video recording? So really easy to do that. If you go out to our virtual booth and go into the Questopoly tab, go ahead and register for the Questopoly drawing. We're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card, but then also anybody who registers in our booth automatically gets an email with links to all of these mini sessions that we're hosting.
Yep.
We've got another question come up. What version has the time field option?
Oh, yes, that was implemented in 3.30. So, and I think it was in the base 3.30. You may need 3.30.
No, it's in base for you. 3.30.
Is it in base? Ashley, you're awesome. Thank you.
Yep. As well as that new instructions field. So if you're looking for that in your 3.14 version, it is not there. It is 3.30 as well.
So Jeff, if you guys aren't on 3.30 at Hennepin County, you got to get there because there's a lot of really cool goodness.
Lots of yummy goodness there.